Oh, don't mind me just having audio issues. Like always, right? It's a stream. It's not a stream without audio issues. Right? Right? All right. I'm almost there, I promise. We're getting there. All right. Okay. Oh. Where did my captions go? There they are. There they are. We're good now, I think. Something like that. Okay. We added on our closed captioning tonight because I think closed captioning just makes it a little bit more accessible for everybody. So let's resize that really quick though. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's better. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to probably part 1 of 2 of Blake. This is a visual novel. Blake is a graphic novel meets visual novel and a sci-fi thriller interactive story. And incriminating events start to revolve around him. Experience the dark, mind-bending, truth-seeking journey of Blake and his pivotal transformation into a vigilante. I am having a hard time with words tonight. Wow. It's a choice-driven game where there are consequences to our actions, and we're going to see who are our allies and figure out who we can trust. So, are you ready for Blake? I'm ready for Blake. Let's go. Blake, the visual novel, contains themes around mental health, violence, and destructive behaviors. The images, themes, and languages used within this game may be disturbing or triggering to some players. Viewer discretion is advised. Press V to toggle self-voicing. Oh, okay. Ooh, that kind of dropped sound way down, too. All right, here we go. Let's see what self-voicing is like first.
The screen is black.
The screen is black. Oh, okay.
Oh, Blake felt the cold air on his face as he opened his eyes. Image shows Blake is standing on the ledge of a tall building and looking down at the streets. Self-voicing disabled.
Okay, we're gonna take that off. I like the concept, but... All right, this is starting out in kind of an intense manner. That also is way, way loud. There we go, that's better. He steps back from the ledge. Blake woke up. So it's a dream, okay. What a weird dream. It felt so real. I must have slept so heavy I didn't even hear my alarm go off. Blake was seldom tardy for work or any other occasion for that matter. No time for his morning peanut butter on toast. He couldn't be late. He was still considered new at ICC, only days away from completing probation, and he had to make a good impression. Better get going. Life can often be unpredictable, and this was particularly true for Blake. Random happenstances had a way of following him like a stubborn pebble wedged into the sole of his shoe. No amount of picking would dislodge it, and it was accompanied by a certain amount of discomfort with every step. And he would never admit it, but sometimes he may even consciously trod on the stone of spontaneity. Title card. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's one of those things where you can flip it either way and it says the same thing. I can't remember the name of that, but it's so cool. I think it's such a cool thing. I love it. On a daily basis, Blake's colleagues at ICC would bicker over the best immersive gaming experience for the year, brag about their newest techie purchases, and speculate on who would next meet their demise on the popular weekly e-screen installment of Fixing Good. Blake's played it. Max's eyes suddenly pop up from behind the top of the computer screen. She cute. She real cute. Don't you think the offline co-op AI in Futures is totally Vin? Am I right? Am I right? Right? Max leaned towards Blake's direction. With a hand walling her mouth from a forceful whisper, she exclaims, "Back me up, Blake." Orlo spurted out an intentionally inelegant laugh, which in turn made Max giggle. Vin, what are you? Are you from another planet? What the fuck does Vin mean? You're just making words up. It means ridiculous, just like your laugh. Anyway, he doesn't give two hoots about futures, you big nerd. You can talk. You're the only one here who owns a whole VR room. Last time you get to use it then. There they go again. Hi, Blake. Oh God, not her. Please not her. He swiveled in his chair. Hey, Harry. Harry was a masterpiece, best admired from afar. She was one of those beautiful paintings that could speak 1,000 words without saying anything. Seriously, though, she could try not saying anything sometimes. Did you have a good weekend? Her fingers spiraled in her hair as she tilted her head in curiosity. Didn't do much, just the usual. You? Why did he even ask? Oh my God, yes! I went on a road trip with my girlies to the forest. We ate marshies over the fire. They were delush. And I saw a unicorn. My friend said I wouldn't see one out there, but I finally did. If every sentence she spoke was written, Blake imagined they would always end in exclamation marks. Excuse me? What? I heard a noise in the middle of the night, unzipped my tent, and in the distance, I swear I saw a unicorn galloping through the trees. I must have startled it. Did she seriously think unicorns exist? It was probably a cow or a stag or something, just not a unicorn. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, you should come along with us next time. We can have a barbecue at night and look for shooting stars. Would you go camping with me? I get the feeling that Blake doesn't really like Hari. We're gonna say it's not really my kind of thing. That's fairly polite. I like her earrings. Her earrings are, it's a chemical for, is it happiness? I can't remember. Maybe caffeine. I don't know. It's not really my kind of thing. Oh well, maybe that will change. Blake smiled softly and turned back to his work. A giggle sang from Hari as she headed back to her female colleagues with a small skip in her step, eager to tell them about the conversation. So clearly Hari likes us. A slender figure hovered beside Blake's desk. It was the junior techspert, Lee. ICC snapped him up before he could throw his graduation hat in the air. No one knew what Lee's forename was. Most people in the office didn't know it was his surname, but Blake had noticed. He noticed Lee's email address started with S, Lee, not the standard first name dot surname layout. Lee was like a ball of plasma that dissipated in nervous energy. His vision flitted from the one thing to another, mostly managing to avoid meeting the eyes. It was as though he was preoccupied with taking in everyone and everything. He displayed anxious head twitches after every sentence, but his voice wore a friendly and happy note. Most of the time, he was elusive and hardly ever spotted around the office, or maybe the word noticed was more apt. Hey, Blake. Lee held a smile, his eyes scoured over Blake's desk space. Mr. Gordon would like to see you in his office if you have a moment. Sure, of course. Let's go. Max and Orlo continued to argue over a few chores behind the desk, and they looked like they were about to try to involve him again. Now Blake had an excuse to slip away from the office debate and abstain from choosing sides. Well, hello, Mr. O'Gartley. How are things? Going well, I hope. Ryan was the chief operating officer at ICC. Whenever Blake saw her in the office, she was usually rushing around on urgent business. To be in her position with one of, if not the world's largest tech firm, meant she had to be extremely efficient. Although Blake had been working there for a while, he hadn't talked to Ryan much. It was always brief pleasantries and small talk, so he was taken aback when she said his name. They weren't on first-name terms yet. All good, thanks. I've been told Mr. Gordian wants to see me about something. Is he about? He should be back any minute. This is kind of embarrassing, but I've been meaning to have a get-to-know-you chat. I've just been so busy, and then poof, 2 months have whizzed by. She gave an encouraging and gentle smile. For someone with so many plates to spin, she had a defyingly calm and welcoming aura. Nerds. The conversation was cut as Jonathan entered the office. I see you're already here. Welcome. Take a seat, Blake. Rye, will you be joining us? I am a busy bee today. I must dash. Blake, we'll have to have that catch up soon. Oh, and Jonathan, I've left those papers you asked for on your desk. Still have no idea why you use that stuff. She chuckled. That's lovely. Thank you, Rye. He nodded in appreciation. A barely visible wave from her hand could be seen as she rushed out the door, set on the work ahead. Jonathan settled down in his overpriced, real leather, ergonomic, I'm the founder of this successful corporation chair. All of his energy turned to Blake. So, Blake, you wanted to see me, Mr. Cordain? It was a regular occurrence for Jonathan to remember many meetings with his staff. He said he liked to catch up on the newest members to see how they're settling in. This is some fine work you've carried out on the Promenade case. The only thing I'd like to point out is the daily stats on your spreadsheet. They don't correspond with the correct dates. And apart from that minor alteration, it's all looking very dandy. Give me one moment because I want to stop the capture. I don't want to capture the mouse. There we go. Jonathan was holding a copy of the screenshot in his hand, a paper screenshot. Blake had rarely seen paper up close. Jonathan laid it down flat against the table and slid it towards Blake. The material bowed up from the rush of air in front of him before it rested back down. Paper used to be made from trees, a little known fact for you. Now they only manufacture it by 3D printing a synthetic material, and it feels a lot smoother in comparison to the original. Blake reached over and grasped onto the sheet of paper. It felt drier than he anticipated, and this made him notice how clammy his palms were. This particular paper more accurately replicates what paper used to be like, compared to the tat you get over in Newstown. This is the good stuff. The cream of the crop. Made for the odd enthusiasts like myself, and I used odd in all manners of the term. Blake studied the figures on the handheld screenshot. Looks like a couple of equations have gone out of sync. It'll be a quick fix. My apologies. After analyzing the data, he set the paper down on the table, and to his disdain, his grip left behind creased remnants. Good, no problem. Anywho, that's not the reason I asked you here. I know you haven't been in the company very long, and you have quite the workload. A stress headache started to rear its ugly head, and momentary double vision distracted Blake. He thought about how no one had come up with a cure for migraines yet. Staring at screens all day couldn't be healthy. Thankfully, it was brief for Blake, but he realized he'd completely missed what Jonathan said. He hoped it wasn't anything too important. I feel like sorry what is probably the better response, and smile and nod. Like, I don't really want to fake it. I don't want to fake it to make it. Maybe okay, we're gonna say sorry what? Sorry? What did you say? Jonathan nodded reassuringly and delivered a warm smile. You're doing well, Blake. I hope you realize that. I have an exceedingly crucial project coming up, so I need someone I can count on. I'd like you to be a part of it. It will allow you to show me what you can manifest. Oh, and the annual well-being test deadline is today, so if you haven't done it yet, make sure to get it sent off. It should be in your inbox. It's only a few questions long, shouldn't take too much time to do. Max and Orlo were still deep in conversation. Did they ever do any work? Do you remember Eric, the droid guard who used to bounce the reception? Yeah, I actually do. What happened to him? I hear they keep him in a big bag in the room behind the front desk. Really? Yeah, he was sacked. Oh man, I fell for that one. I wonder what actually happened to him though. A notification popped up on Blake's screen. One new email. I should probably do that well-being test. Oh, thanks, Rupert. Just giving my dog a moment to not bark right in our ear. There's the well-being test. Where's our meeting invite? We already did that. It's Hari's birthday in less than 2 weeks. Please make sure to sign her per e-card. Write a message to Hari. I don't want to be mean to her. We'll do that. We'll do that. To Hari, my condolences. It's gonna be HB Blake. There you go. I feel like that's what I would do anyway. All right, well-being test, action required. Well-being test employee Blake O'Gartley. This form is not anonymous. All information is secure and shared only with ICC Specialist Department for use of monitoring all staff's well-being. Support may be offered to tailor to your needs at work. How are you feeling today, Blake? Oh, should we actually take this quiz as if it's me? Because I had kind of a crappy day. How are you feeling today, Blake? I mean, I guess I'm okay. Out of the following fears, which do you relate to the most right now? Failure at my job, struggling to pay my bills, someone watching me in my own privacy, being framed for a crime I didn't commit, or harming someone. We'll go with honest answers at the moment, I feel. If you could see a scale above people's heads that measured one part of their status, what would you want to know about them? Their happiness, their wealth, their honesty, their naivety. Ooh. Oh, that's hard. I don't care about their wealth. I don't care about the naivete. Honesty, man? I don't know. I think I want to see their happiness. How often would you say your days differentiate enough for you to distinguish within a week? Every day is different. The majority of days are different. Not many days are different. Every day is the same. I'm going to say not many days are different because that's kind of how it is right now. Well-being test. Result. Work harder and you'll be less distracted. Oh no. Oh no, that's a mood. That is I feel that. Nope, you're wrong. Kill VR is a good person. That's why they do what they do. If that's true, why have they accepted all the money made from publicity instead of giving it to charity? I know Blake agrees with me here. We were talking about it last week. Stop trying to drag people in your losing battle, Orlo. It doesn't work. So it's only okay when you do it? So we can agree with them, ignore them, or ask them to stop arguing. I feel like I would ask them that. Do you two ever stop arguing? Yes. No. They looked at each other quietly, smiled, and then sheepishly went back to work. Max started to frantically prod at her screen, all eyes slowly looking around at her. What the helicopter? Has someone changed the details on my spreadsheet for the radar project? All of my work, it's totally gone. Orlo, this isn't one of your pranks, is it? Nope, not me, I swear. I would probably offer to help her fix it. I'm trying to play Blake as if he was me. Maybe that'll benefit us. Maybe it will tell us something deep about our soul that we don't know. I can help you get your save file from yesterday's backup, but it won't have any of the work you've done today. Thanks, Blake. That's kind of you, but I can sort it. Max and Orlo both smile in appreciation. I don't know why anyone would go into my work and change it, though. I know, it's Vin. That's not what the word means, Orlo. Welcome, Blake. I'm so glad you accepted my invite, and it's good to see you again. I have an exciting project for you to get involved in. Usually meetings were held in one of the 4 12-seater meeting rooms. However, this seemed more of a cozy affair. Blake preferred Jonathan's office. The meeting rooms were always set in an extreme temperature. He theorized that the temperature was deliberate. A freezing cold room, when meeting, required full alertness and flowing creativity, or a toasty warmth that could lull you into a light slumber of compliance, when the agenda was one where fewer options or opinions were appreciated. Chris, this is Blake, one of our newest recruits. Oh, hello! For a man of such otherworldly stature, Chris gave Blake the most disappointingly limp handshake. Aw, man. A bad handshake is just so, Maybe he was exercising caution after all. Those paws could easily crush a coconut. Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you. And you. Gentlemen, take a seat. Chris and Blake shuffled onto the sofa in the office, perched beside one another. Jonathan stood in front of them and made use of the projected touchscreen on the wall behind him. You know, I'm kind of digging this. I am digging this. Oh, I have to close my water bottle. My water bottle's leaking. That's a bummer. I kind of want to get a notepad out for some notes. Do you guys game with notepads? Is that a thing for other people? I feel like I do it more lately. You may have noticed the agenda in the meeting invite was missing. Blake and Chris nodded in tandem. Jonathan brought up the meeting invite onto the screen and swiped his hand across the empty space after the word agenda. A black box appeared over the text, which highlighted and revealed the words Project HG. Project name had been written in white against the background, which had concealed the words on the screen. Jonathan smirked to himself, thrilled at the opportunity to finally employ a classy spy trick used by protagonists in the espionage novels of bygone years that he loved so much. He steeled himself for the introduction, intended to be seared with finesse, sprinkled with style, and served up with panache. At least this was how he hoped to deliver it. Jonathan often considered himself a pompous old fool and marveled at the fact that the rest of the world hadn't caught on yet. Ooh, imposter syndrome. Every instant message and email you send, every word you speak or text, every update you make on your phone, every move, when your e-screens, consoles, and computers are on, they are all recording your data. It's true, they are. Blake suppressed a smile, musing that here he was, witnessing Jonathan at his finest. The gleam of the CEO's eyes was like that of a religious zealot, compelling those around him to follow. Blake wondered if this was a trait that Jonathan had always possessed, or if it was a latent ability that manifested later in life. For a second, for a select few shadowy clients whose circumstances and contracts decree they shall remain anonymous, we have been working on Project HG, a system that blocks all records of the sender's ID, location, even their existence when used. Imagine filling your screen as though plucked from the ether itself, utterly incognito. Just think of the military and security applications. It's as though you're receiving a message from a ghost, a spy's dream. Heavens, why do you think they call themselves spooks? Jonathan decided to omit the line about it having nothing to do with their regular haunts, compromising the flash car dealerships and boudoirs of high-class call girls. He concluded that an extended metaphor could often prove irksome, and the mention of fast cars and loose women may distract his listeners' minds from the crucial subject matter. Jonathan took out a flat, handheld screen, not any model Blake recognized. The phone in the center of the desk released a disruptive twitter in between Chris and Blake. Who does it say is calling? The display lit up and displayed incoming call from... The incoming call stopped. Complete anonymity. His voice lowered towards the end of the word anonymity for dramatic effect, and he interlaced his fingers in a satisfied power pose. Blake could only hope that one day he'd be able to captivate an audience with such passionate verve. And although Jonathan's theatrical performance was inspiring, to say the least, he found his attention dared to flicker over to Chris. Once Blake had noted Chris's inelegant idiosyncrasies out of the corner of his eye, he couldn't help monitoring him periodically throughout the meeting. Chris's left hand was placed on the smooth black meeting room table in a fist, whilst the right hand, an obsolete and unusually large e-pen positioned, as if to note something down, but not accompanied by a tablet. The feeling of Chris's gaze twitching over him, along with an uncomfortably blank expression, caused an uneasiness to slither through Blake. Primarily, the HD device is advanced crypto processing software. We collate feedback from our clients, and the results show that they desire software that solely connects to the HD device, rendering it incompatible with any other hardware. This means the software is highly, if not completely, secure from interception and piracy. There are currently 2 types of HD, the flat tablet and the touchboard tablet. Jonathan showed them the sleek black tablet. The touchboard slid out from underneath the screen with a satisfyingly smooth click into position. The keys illuminated the touchboard once the gadget was activated. So if I send a message to someone who has the device, how does that work? Good question, Blake. You cannot send a direct message to somebody who has an HD device unless they have initiated conversation, because there is no number to identify with the user with. This means you can simply reply to emails and texts, but not initiate a voice or video call. You also cannot see messages sent from an HD device if you log into the same account on an external device. Exempli grati, Chris. If I send you an email from the HD device and you open the email from your home computer, you would then only be able to access the message on said home computer. Well, that's interesting. You would not be able to view it if you logged into your email account from another device, such as your phone or work computer. Understand? Blake and Chris bobbed their heads in unison again. When you use the HD device, you create a new, untraceable path for your message. So if you send a message to someone from HG, the recipient will see it and be able to retain it. However, it won't show who it's from. Keeping a record will deem the message unsecure, because if the recipient's device falls into third parties' hands, they can retrieve the information. Additionally, due to the state-of-art software embedded into the message, you cannot forward, copy, or print screen any of the content received. The HD device user can alternatively choose an expiration date for the message to disappear from the recipient's device, or even once the recipient navigates away from the open message. Ooh, like Snapchat. Essentially, a self-destruct button, if you will. You'll both be given a prototype version to work on and familiarize yourselves with. I ask that they remain within the premises and that you store them inside your lockers. Once the meeting had adjourned, Jonathan caught Blake's attention before he could leave the room. What did you think? It was great. I'm excited to work on this project and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And what are your impressions of your new project colleague, Chris? He seems a little odd. Don't worry, he's a good man. I think you two will work well together. A few hours flew by. Blake swore he felt the vibrations from the floor up and through his chair as the footsteps came closer to his desk. Oh god, he's so big. He is gigantic. Just as Chris approached, a loud sneeze trumpeted from behind Blake's computer. Achoo! The gentle giant's attention averted to Max. Bless you, Max. 156. What are you on about? Orlo always piped up whenever Max said something. It was like they had a mutual agreement that they were a duo. Chris stood motionless and bewildered. A wise man told me to count my blessings. An expression of smugness took over Max's face. In her mind, she saw her audience erupt into laughter. Back in reality, there was a mental facepalm and a weak chuckle from the surrounding desks apart from Chris, who still looked baffled by the whole encounter. She's really cute. He was unfamiliar with this part of the office. He rarely had a reason to be there. I think you dropped this in the meeting room. The bass of the giant's voice reverberated in Blake's chest as he handed over Blake's keycard. Such an awkward, unnatural-looking smile. It must be forced. Still, Jonathan wanted him to give Chris the benefit of the doubt. Ah, thanks. Blake gave him a friendly smile and a nod. Chris stayed put, lingering momentarily, as if unsure about something, then took his leave. Max watched in awe as the gigantor trudged back to the second floor. How did he know my name? Geez, the size of that man. He could probably rip your head clean off your shoulders if he wanted to, and I bet he's an absolute beast in the bedroom. He was playfully wiggling his eyebrows at Max. Shh, knock it off, Orlo. Maybe we should invite him out for drinks tonight, seeing as it's Friday, and we hardly know the guy. could be an interesting man underneath all that beefy muscle. If you carry on talking about him like he's a piece of meat, I'm gonna start some beef with you. Ugh, the puns. The puns. As if you would. We all know that you're a coward. Come on, show me what you've got. Make your move. Oh god, they were back to the puns. Terrible ones at that. Although it could be distracting on occasions, Blake enjoyed the breaks from figures and processes. He was grateful to be around friendly colleagues in his work life. They were almost like family to him, in a strange way. Enough with this bullshit. Blake, you went for drinks at Saucy Mama's tonight? Yeah, I like drinks. Let's go to drinks. Go on, then I'll come along. He decided it would be a good idea to get out for the night and maybe take some time to get to know his colleagues a little better. Saucy Mamas, all right. Sounds like a bar I'd hang out at. Saucy Mama's was primarily a burger joint which served as a cafe by day and transformed into a bar at night. Famous for their pie screams, chalk-tails, and energetic, skimpy outfitted cookies. Cookies was just another term they used for chiseled, model-like servers. They were a mixture of humans and droids, but each had been chosen to work there due to their almost natural perfection. For somewhere that sounded hectic, it had a laid-back atmosphere. Maybe this was because everyone was hypnotized by the various shows. So it's like a burger joint strip club like Hooters? Blake had a couple of drinks and enjoyed the chatter amongst the group. Who would you like to get to know? Not Hari. I feel like we're already annoyed by Hari. We spent a lot of time with Max and Orlo today. Let's go with Lee. Hey Blake, let's chat. What do you do outside of work? When I'm not gaming, I like to go running to clear my head. It helps. I bet running works well. Yeah, definitely. Paired with some blood-pumping music, it gets really addictive. What do you think of Chris? He seems friendly enough, but I don't know the guy. Mostly talk to Andy when I'm not too busy with my work. What do you think of Andy? Andy's such a cool and friendly dude. I feel I can talk to him about anything. What do you think of Orlo? He's fun. Maybe a bit loud at times. I play games with him and Max occasionally, and it's a laugh. They usually chat away. I'm more of a listener. What do you think of Hari? I haven't spoken to her much, so not much really to say. What do you think of Max? She's nice. I like playing games with her and Orlo. Lee went quiet, his face flushed to a soft pink. Bye. I guess we should talk to Hari. Hey! Just a couple of months. What do you do outside of work? I love going camping and spending time with my besties, and I love the movies. I'm hoping to save up to move to Hollywood and become an actress one day. Orlo's fun. What do you think of Max? Max is really funny. He's the quiet one, isn't he? I've always seen him at reception talking to Andy. Doesn't really think much of Chris. Haven't met him before. Don't really know the CEO. Don't you have monthly meetings with him? No, I have monthly meetings with my manager. Oh, okay. She wasn't very chatty today. More like she was focused on her surroundings. Let's hang out again soon. I'm gonna say we save Chris for last. What do you think of Max? She's a sweetie. I love her. What do you think? Oh, are you in love with Max? Orlo smiled and raised his eyebrows. Not like that. She's my little Max. What do you think of Lee? Seems like a genuine person, but very elusive. Now and then he'll play games online with me and Max, but he doesn't say much aside of the game tactics. What do you think of Hari? Not sure about that one. Orlo leaned closer to Blake, quickly glancing to make sure she wasn't in earshot. Well, she doesn't have an Image Nation account. I'm not saying she has to have one, but it doesn't fit her profile. It begs the question, why isn't she wasting her time taking pictures of us, her food, her drinks, and uploading them to Image Nation? I don't have an Image Nation account either. Yeah, but that's very much the dark and mysterious Blake, not Hari. What do you think of the CEO? Busy man, but he has time for anyone that asks, so which is nice. No complaints. He works for a different floor, so I've never met him before. I'll let you know once I get to know him. How long have you been at the ICC? Sorry, trying to nom a cookie between some of these speeches. What do you think of Orlo? He's okay, I guess. I'm kidding. He's my gaming buddy, my ride or die, an excellent wingman. You can come across a little guarded at first, but get to know him. He's very charming. He seems to have a way of talking you into things. Sometimes it's like you don't even get a choice. I love Ultra Assault. Orlo and I always get involved in the annual tournament, and without it, I probably wouldn't get any exercise. I also love narrative choice games, like this one. But it's so annoying when they give you a choice of what to say and the character says something completely different. Tell me about it. An item? Oh no, he's like a brother to me. I think he's adorable. He's a sweet guy. Chris seems friendly, a bit stoic but harmless from what I can tell. Don't really know him though because he works on a different floor. Jonathan's a good CEO. I certainly had worse bosses. I don't know Hari that well. We hang out in different circles, but she seems very positive and happy. I've been working there nearly 2 years now. Orlo started not long after me. The time has whizzed by. I'm kind of excited about this one. Chris wasn't contributing much to the conversation at the table, mostly smiling and nodding. He thinks the CEO is a very decent man. What do you think of Max and Orlo? They seem nice. What do you think of Lee? He seems kind. What do you think of Hari? She seems happy. You don't say much, do you? No. How long have you been at ICC? 4 years. What do you like to do outside of work? I like taking Marv for long walks. He's my dog. I love dogs! All right, time to leave. Finally back at home, Blake trudged in. Now tired and a bit peckish, he rubbed his stomach and sat down on the couch. E-screen on. The e-screen came to life. He'd set the news stream to come on as default. It usually filled the silence whilst he looked for something to watch. Kill VR, the controversial killer who hunts down dangerous convicts and records the murders through their bionic eyes, is the focal point in the upcoming documentary Kill VR in the Eyes of a Killer. Promising never before seen, ultra-shocking VR footage, including their very first kill from Kill VR's own eyes, the one that started it all. Blake checked his phone idly. One new voicemail. Since when did anyone use voicemail? Ooh. Oh. Good evening, Blake. How about going for that lunch I mentioned? Tomorrow at Saucy Mama's? I'll have my car come and pick you up at noon. What lunch is he talking about? Their meeting came flashing back. He'd zoned out from the conversation due to a headache. Why on earth would Jonathan want to hang out with him outside of work hours? He hated himself a little for missing something so important. The light from the E-screen glared at Blake. The news channel illuminated the room as it flashed from one scene to another. As usual, he had nodded off with the E-screen chanting in the background. The thick, dark curtains were drawn, blocking out any ounce of light that would have allowed one to speculate the time of day, but that's the way he preferred it. The time blinked in blue light from the side of his bed, 11:11 a.m. Overslept again. Gone were the days when he used to spring out of bed at 8 a.m. or even earlier. The sound from the E-screen was muffled. Rummaging around, he retrieved the remote from underneath him and instantly reaped the rewards of comfort. Level 3 on the sound. It was too quiet to hear. He must have fallen asleep on it. Turning up the volume, he could now hear the newsreader breathlessly reporting on the story of a theft at an owl sanctuary just hours ago. Police believe that the Parliament of Owls was stolen in the middle of the night between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. However, no witnesses have come forward as of yet. If anyone has any information on this, please contact the local number for Newstone Police Department, quoting reference 28280. Who would commit such a horrible, heartless act? Blake checked himself. He thought that not only was she reporting the news, but offering her own opinion on it. He missed the days when news consisted of facts rather than including speculation and emotion. He conceded that he had to agree with her on this occasion. Who would commit such a heinous crime? Gathering his senses, movement from above caught his eye. Something was in the shadows all around him. 14 spherical objects were reflecting the images from the news. The objects disappeared and reappeared at different intervals. What? The hooting noise on the E-screen made him jump. Wait, no. That wasn't on the E-screen. What? What the heck? Why do we have... Why do we have a bunch of owls? How the fuck did they get here? Was someone pulling a prank? He quickly checked the flat to make sure there were no uninvited guests apart from the owls. What was he going to do? How could he make this right? It was his phone. Jonathan's car was here to pick him up. Oh, fuck. He rushed around getting ready. The owl problem would have to wait a little longer. He just left the owls in his apartment. He's just like, I guess I'll come back to this later. Like, what the? Oh my god. Jonathan was already sitting at the table waiting for Blake. Thank you for joining me on your day off. Blake smiled and sat down. I invited you because we have something important to discuss. Something I should have made you aware of earlier. I just hadn't found the right time. Jonathan exuded a film noir aesthetic. But of course, no one but him even knew what that was. For the man who was the face of the future, he loved to live in the past. Oh my god. The server appeared and Jonathan bided his time. It's good to see that in the future we are all still horny. Put our order on my tab, Mr. Gourdain. It's Mr. Gourdain. I'll have a blue beard. Make that too. Blake thought about the owl problem back home, and now he felt stuck while the situation was getting worse. 2 bluebeards coming up. The server prodded her table before sauntering off. Jonathan looked curious. He was scrutinizing a puzzle for its solution. What is it? You're troubled. Might I be able to help you? Blake shot a fervent look around the restaurant. Satisfied that there were no eavesdroppers present, he continued in a lowered voice. I got drunk and stole some owls. I love that he's like, I got drunk and stole some owls. Or someone broke into my flat. I don't want to take responsibility for it, because if I say I did it, then that could come back on me later. Someone broke into my flat last night. Oh my, what happened? What did they take? With such a baffling addition to the flat, Blake hadn't thought to check if anything had also gone missing. No, but... Boop, here's your drinks! Blake knocked back a large swig of Bluebeard and weighed his options. He was in two minds, but he had no choice. He had to tell Jonathan. Okay, I admit this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, and you probably won't believe me, and I'm probably gonna lose my job here, but there are owls in my flat. Stolen owls that I didn't put there. Please don't fire me. Jonathan seemed cool and collected. Are you saying someone stole some owls and placed them in your flat in the middle of the night whilst you were sleeping? Somehow, I have no idea how, but yes. Jonathan leaned back in thought and took a deep inhalation. This reminded him of smoking his e-pipe. He enjoyed ancient relics from an era that had been lost to the affliction of time. Out of his collection, he especially admired the antiqued pipe he had acquired from a stall in the opposite side of the city, and had his e-pipe specially redesigned to replicate the antique one. All I know is this morning I woke up to the news channel showing a story about some stolen owls. Moments later, I find those missing owls staring at me from my curtain rail, my shelves, my bed frame, everywhere, pretty much on top of whatever they could perch on in my room. I definitely didn't put them there. I know that for certain, and I have no idea who did it, or how they broke into my flat, or how they could even have gotten in there without me noticing. Oh, there's a message. The owl and the wood mouse ran away in an elegant pumpkin carriage. They journeyed wide and far under the stars. Oh, what a beautiful marriage. Someone's having a joke. What is it? He read the text aloud. What's that? It's an old poem about two unlikely species, the owl and the wood mouse, hunter and prey, who want to be together, but it's not seen as acceptable in the forest, so they run away to live together in harmony. It's a love story. Jonathan rubbed his gray stubble. And now this has become very interesting. You have a message from the culprit, so I think it's safe for us to deduce that this wasn't an act of a drunken youth. Possibly a harmless, albeit reckless prank? An overzealous admirer? A jilted ex-lover, perhaps? I doubt it would be my ex Stacy. She wouldn't do something like this, and she lives in a different city now anyway. Jonathan looked inspired. His eyes lit up with wonder and determination. He'd gone full detective mode. I am intrigued to see where this will lead us. Us? Yes. You need to analyze the crime scene for clues, and if it's not too much bother, I'd be elated to join you in this exciting endeavor. Before Blake could interject, Jonathan continued. Let's head to your apartment and see if we can find any clues. We need to ensure the owls are in good health, and then we'll have them returned home safely. They headed outside into the bitter cold. Jonathan took a breath of e-pipe. He blew out a mixture of Earl Grey scented smoke and cold air, which formed a cloud that enveloped him. Why Jonathan had wanted to meet at Saucy Mama's in the first place was still a question at the back of Blake's mind, but it would have to stay there for now. I swear my keycard was in here. I'll have to use my phone pass instead. Didn't he get his keycard back from Chris? I think he got it from Chris. Ooh, a bottle of beer. This is the beer I had before I went to bed. Nothing weird about it. On the contrary, Blake, you said you don't remember hearing anything at all last night, yes? Correct. Is there a chance someone could have tampered with your drink? That could explain why I slept in so late. Blake looked startled and horrified, then gave the drink a sniff. You wouldn't necessarily smell or taste it, but let's move on for now. Hold on a minute, you just said that I might have been drugged. There's no way to test it in the right here and now, but we will get to that. We need to rule every possibility out. Got his key card. Strange place for it to be. I always keep it in my wallet. Blake took out his wallet and inspected it. Huh? Someone ripped a hole in the bottom of the card holder. Does anyone have access to your key card apart from you? Not normally, but I dropped it in the meeting room the other day. Chris found it and returned it to me. It's never happened before. Interesting. Have you left your wallet anywhere unattended recently? Not that I recall. Why would someone cut a hole in your wallet to get the key card instead of just taking it? To make someone else look suspicious. This is most likely the answer. There would be no reason to cut a hole in your wallet to gain access to your key card. Someone wanted your key card to drop, so someone else would pick it up and alert you to the fact that it wasn't secure. What this means is, someone might have had access to your apartment since before Friday. This all sounds a little complicated and far-fetched. It does, and all the more intriguing. Did you ever think that you would be, like, searching for clues about owls mysteriously appearing in your apartment with your CEO? Like, is that how you imagine spending your day off? On the floor was a tablet pen. Blake vaguely recognized it from somewhere and took a closer look. The tablet pen was a bright shade of pink with an aggressively chewed end. Blake didn't have a tendency to eat pens. It was an efficient way of getting unwanted germs. He certainly wouldn't want to use one that someone else's mouth had been intimate with. Yuck, someone's chewed this pen. This might be a clue to who was last in possession of the pen. The word Max Hacks was in big turquoise letters down the side. Max Hacks. Let's check What's It. Jonathan opened the What's It app and took a picture of the lettering. First matched here is an Imagination account belonging to our very own Max. It showcases some of her hacking knowledge, but it's mainly screenshots of her gaming on her Nudge stream. Oh my god, it's Twitch and then it's Nudge. Oh my god. It's things like this that will eternally baffle me. Call me an old fuddy-duddy, but when everyone is busy streaming what they're doing, who's left to watch? That's a really good question. Blake had no idea what fuddy-duddy meant and noticed Jonathan had a tendency to use a large number of outdated words. However, that is beside the point. How did it get here in your apartment? I honestly don't know. There was a piece of material stuck to the nib of the pen. There's a small piece of silk material on the end here. This is all very intriguing. It looks like the material from the nib of the pen is from my wallet. So someone used the pen to rip the hole in it. Whoever had access to the pen and your wallet is our prime suspect right now. What does this all mean? I don't know, but something isn't right. I believe there's more to this than we initially thought. So you suspect foul play? Precisely. The next thing we can do to advance our investigation is to check this building's CCTV. But first, let's get these owls back home. Jonathan took out a familiar-looking device. You have an HD device with you? Oh yes, this isn't a prototype version though. Jonathan started to message someone, and Blake thought back to the owl and the wood mouse text he'd received. The message had no sender. So it's somebody who has an HD tech thing. Claude should be here soon, so come pick up the owls. Who's Claude? He's a friend that works in the NSPD. Wait, what? You informed a police officer? Detective. Are you sure we can trust him? Yes, he's a friend and we can trust him. He's my personal contact in case of emergencies. So you're saying that you can just do what you want and he'll say that you're an anonymous tipper? Well, I can't do anything I want. That wouldn't be responsible. But he's always there to assist if I need a favor. Jonathan's voice softened a little. In the meantime, whilst we wait, we should sit down and talk. I still have something very pressing I need to discuss, and here is probably the best place to do that. Blake was intrigued and half expected Jonathan to swipe his hand across the air to magically reveal his pressing agenda. Firstly, I want to say, although the circumstances here with your owl situation are a little odd to say the least, I am enjoying spending some time helping you. Jonathan was searching for the right words to continue. I'd like to direct this conversation to your past. More importantly, that you had a change in guardianship at a young age. It seemed an odd direction for the conversation, but it took a lot to faze him. You mean when I was adopted? Yes, you see, the thing is, Blake, there's no easy way for me to say this, but... Hey, James! Jonathan looked down at the ground momentarily. I am your biological father. Really? A deafening silence swept across the room as they both left the information sink in. Blake was clearly confused. It was a reaction that Jonathan had anticipated. They simmered in the moment. Jonathan patiently waited whilst deep in thought about how to continue the conversation. Ooh, these are all good questions, but I feel like, why didn't you tell me? I know you must be feeling thunderstruck by this news. I can understand that, but here, take this. It contains all the documents in it. They're yours now. It has all the information you need. I know, I was kind of like, I am your father. As much as he would have preferred to be handing over a brown envelope with string and a washer, the mini flash drive would have to do. The small object was encompassed in the palm of his hand. Jonathan's expression started to soften as he handed it over. Blake studied the back of Jonathan's wrinkled hand as he held it out. The snaking veins reminded him of the valley of winding rivers. Jonathan began an attempt to explain more, but was interrupted by the doorbell. We'll discuss this later, I promise. Blake opened the door, and in walked Claude. He nodded at Blake, his eyes scanned the room. Then his attention quickly went to Jonathan. Claude looks like a detective, like a Claude. He looks like a Claude. What you got? Where's the mess? Thank you so much for coming, Claude. Blake, do you mind if I take him to see the owls? Yeah, there's a bunch of owls in our bedroom. Then we don't know how they got there. Jonathan pointed to ask which way Blake's bedroom was. Sure, go ahead. It's just down there on the right. Once they left the room, Blake sat back and thought about what Jonathan had just told him, and toyed with the flash drive between his fingers. He grabbed his computer and slotted the flash drive in. My dog probably has to go to the bathroom, so give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Flip-flops. You look tiny. We're good. We're good. It probably won't kill me. What we got? Please don't be an outfit change. I'm so comfy. But I'm so comfy. Hi, my name's Kat, and I know how to use words. Or no, I don't really want to start a cult. It's too much responsibility, Jarek, and I have a lot on my plate. Where are my supplies? Hello? My name is The Cat is a Lie, and I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy the ride. Just buckle in. Does it go bad? It shouldn't go bad. It's so salty. Let's not talk about the date on that jar. We're not gonna talk about it. It takes time to look like this much of a train wreck. A Okay, sorry. He doesn't have to go to the bathroom. He's just being a dick. Like my dog is sometimes. Scrutinizing the documents, there was a birth certificate, same birthday as the one he celebrated, adoption documents, and a family picture. A smiling 6-year-old Blake, his mum, and a proud-looking 30-something-year-old man, Jonathan. Blake had vague memories of his parents, but it was mostly a blur. Jonathan had felt familiar when they'd first met, but thinking back, the man seemed different now than what he remembered. Time and success had most likely aged and shaped him into the person he'd become, and they had over 2 decades to catch up on. And Saul looks legit. Blake Bourdain. Wow, that's gonna take some getting used to. But why don't I remember this clearly? Right, I'm gonna need to transport the owls somewhere secure and release them in a new area where they can't escape. Then I can call it an anonymous tip-off. That way no evidence will be found. You You can use the abandoned computer store. ICC, procured the building, and the renovation isn't due to commence until next month. There's no CCTV, and you can use the side street for discretion. There was a normal half-assed precipitation going on outside as Blake checked out the sliding balcony doors. He imagined it would work in their favor for keeping the streets quiet. They transferred the owls to the back of the police van, concealed inside multiple cardboard boxes. It was an arduous task, done to ensure that none of the owls were harmed in the process. Again, my utmost appreciation for your assistance with this, Claude. Please let me know when it's all done. Claude tipped his hat at Jonathan and gave another nod to Blake before leaving. Jonathan noticed the family picture on Blake's computer screen and smiled. I'm very fond of that picture. The smile faded and a glint of sadness showed in his eyes. Jonathan cleared his throat and knew that Blake would also need some time for the news to sink in. Let's go back to the owl situation and how this could have happened. Let's analyze the evidence we have. Is there anything prominent that sticks out here? It seemed a meticulous and investigative nature ran in their blood. Blake took a moment to choose his words carefully. The sender's name on the text I got was blank, which means it's someone with access to an HG device. Well, this is very strange and news to me. I can imagine this may make me look like a suspect. However, I can assure you it wasn't me. For now, you'll have to take my word on it. There's always a way I may be able to help you shed some light on the culprit. I'll pick you up tomorrow and we'll check your apartment's security footage. Try to get some rest. This is so weird. We're solving crimes with our dad, who we didn't know was our dad, and we just found out was our dad. And he's helping us figure out why there are owls in our house, I guess? Blake had a moment to take in his surroundings and let out a big breath. Whew. He decided to go survey the damage in the bedroom. Feathers everywhere, and bird shit, just like he had predicted. He clicked on the news channel and started to scrub. It was more difficult to clean than anticipated. Nothing on the news about the owls yet, but it was too soon. He'd have to bag up these feathers tight, or maybe make a pillow out of them. Room cleaned, he could finally rest. The next morning felt nice and calm in Blake's apartment, just how he liked it. Oh, good, a music change. I was kind of getting the other music. I liked the music so far, but it was kind of like, this has been playing for a while. A new day, no concerns. If anyone has information on Sam Stevens' whereabouts, we urge you to come forward and please contact the Hive team. The news finally switched to what he had been waiting for. And some good news today. At 8 a.m. this morning, all 7 of the missing owls were delivered back to the Newstown Owl Sanctuary after a detective located them at a local closed-down store. Although there is no evidence to suggest who committed this crime, we can confirm that no harm came to the owls and they are very happy to be home. Did you enjoy a beer tonight, James? And if so, please tell me about it. I'm currently drinking Nordic Farmhouse. It's a cranberry saison style mead. Some good news for once. The clip of the reporter outside the building cut to a montage of cute owls accompanied by silky-voiced male narrator telling his audience which owls are close buddies and how they like to spend their spare time. The report finished up with a request for donations, and it was clear the Owl Sanctuary was making the most of this opportunity to promote. Ooh. Jonathan's calling us. Hey, Blake, get down here pronto. We've got some investigating to do. Where are we going? You'll see. Jonathan was driving manually and concentrating on what he was doing. Blake didn't understand why Jonathan didn't use autopilot, but chalked it up to being another of his anachronistic eccentricities. I love the big words, but visually, they're hard to read sometimes. Blake made a bet with himself that Jonathan probably still drank water from the tap, too. In the future. They traveled outside of the business district to the east part of Newstone. Around here, they called it Newston. Large, opulent houses, lavishly decorated and possessing the newest of technical gadgetry. Gardens exhibited the finest topiary and exotic plants. This part of town was heavily surveilled by private security firms and personal bodyguards. Only the top businessmen and richest celebrities and high rollers lived here. Chocolate cherry stout. Ooh, oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you're kind of drunk, because that means you're celebrating a rough day appropriately. You're doing the right things. You're unwinding well. Jonathan had an assault course of security systems to override to gain access to his house. The spacious living room was white and black with minimalistic style. Exceptionally tidy due to the hired cleaner who visited every couple of days. An open-plan kitchen joined at the far back of the room. Gray, silver, black, white, and no colors to be seen. Only one room of the house possessed a slightly wider color palette, and that was Jonathan's work-at-home office. The circular archaic bookcase and the old contraption in the Cabinet of Wonders and some sort of leafless tree-type sculpture thing lurked in the corner of the room. This is how Blake had imagined it. He does have like the old 80s aesthetic stuff. He does like his old vintage things. This week earns it. I know, it's Wednesday. Can you believe it's Wednesday? You might need another. Have another one on me. You have books. They stopped at the bookcase. Blake chuckled and scanned the titles. They didn't look neat. Every book was different, height and width. Each one had a different colored sleeve. This is a concept I learned from a forgotten era. Jonathan couldn't help but let us slip a smirk. He clutched a book by its spine and tilted it towards him. Oh, he's got a secret room. The book released a faintly audible click. Jonathan gave Blake a wink as the bookshelf moved to the side, revealing a hidden door. It might as well be Monday. You're darn right about that one. I'll toast you to that there. Down in the clandestine room, he housed 2 computers and other technical instruments that Blake had never seen before. Oh, they're TVs and typewriters and stuff? Oh my god. Take a seat. The 2 machines were on standby mode, so there was no waiting around for them to load up. What is this place? Where did you get all these things from? This is where I keep my inventions, prototypes, and backup equipment. I always thought it would be useful to hold on to some items, as they could be put to good use. First things first. Jonathan poured some of the liquid from the beer bottle into a container and then clicked it into a machine. Then was busy tapping away on his phone. This little information can tell you information about the ingredients and the breakdown of nutrients, as well as read calories. It also works with materials. My. The reader says this liquid contains hypernol. No wonder you didn't hear anything. Someone drugged me? But how? I don't want to alarm you, but I would guess that you have a beer most Fridays, so they were counting on an observed habit. Observed? It is a possibility. Let's check the security cam for your apartment. Hopefully we'll be able to see who was there. It might shed some light on everything. If I've calculated this correctly, this one should be the camera I spotted on the wall opposite your door. Here we are. It's locked? Nothing I can't handle. Jonathan smirked and opened a drawer underneath the desk. He took out a small handheld rectangular machine which had no definable markings on it. I call her Machine. He connected the device to the laptop, clicked a few buttons, and the device started to make a whirling noise. Beep! This is why you need to get out more. But then, where would you be without this old man's kooky devices? Now we just need to choose the date. 23rd of March, wasn't it? Yeah, that's the one. Nothing. How could there be no movement at all evening? Jonathan checked the recording from previous days leading up to the owl theft and still nothing. It looks like someone has tampered with the footage somehow. This isn't the original. Can we get the original? Depends, but either way, it's beyond my capabilities. We need help. I know that Max is a hacker. She may be able to assist. Lee is another whose knowledge goes way beyond my own. They could be an option should you wish to delve deeper. Someone has gone to a lot of trouble to cover up who they are. For now, I don't think we're going to find the answer. Try your best not to worry. Go get some rest and maybe give it a few days. And then we can ask Max or Lee if they can help us. Gave Blake a reassuring squeeze of the shoulder. Thanks, Dad, I guess. Word has already spread around the office that Blake could be Jonathan's long-lost son. No one had the stones to ask Blake about the gossip. They were all treading lightly around the subject. But Blake sensed the chatter. The owl incident and the poem felt like a strange, distant memory. Looking up from his daydream, Blake noticed that Chris was standing by him, just staring. How long had he been there? How did he not feel the quiver of the building's structure as Chris galumphed over? Blake felt a shudder down his spine. You scared me. Don't sneak up on me like that. I have some analytics for you to run through when you get a moment. Mr. Gourdain said he is keen to get the ball rolling. Chris handed over the copy with care as if it were made of thin glass. More paper. The paper was as crinkled as the crumpled veins of laziness on Chris's shirt. Blake considered diversely. Thanks. Mr. Gourdain. Well, the other Mr. Gourdain. Wait, no. Not that I mean that there's two. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... People said that Jonathan is your... Chris stopped rambling. He looked worried and panicked as he realized he'd slipped up. The secret was out. I don't know. I guess I'll talk to him. It's fine, don't worry. It's not inaccurate, but please just deny any knowledge if anyone asks you. Chris looked genuinely pleased and grateful. I won't say anything to anyone, I promise. Jonathan also suggested you and I get together outside of work to go through our project, so if you don't mind if I come over, do you? Great, I can bring Marv, my dog, with me too. Great. Tonight it is. Okay then. Glumph. Blake pulled a perplexed face as Chris's mountainous frame hobbled off. He wondered whether Chris had always been a Hulk or just really into weightlifting. How many hours a day would you have to lift weights to achieve that? I can't wait for Ultra Salt. I'm gonna win the medal this year. I can feel it. Can you just imagine how amazing that would be? You're gonna be eating my dust at the Red Dragon course just like last year. I won't because you're a lizard butt. Come on then, out with the punchline. You'll be the one who's dragging behind. No. Just no. Are you planning on taking part this year, Blake? I always have the best intentions to. I enjoy the events and everything in Ultra Salt, but I tend to lose track of what's going on. I don't think my character has ever been higher than level 10. I prefer to watch the live finals rather than taking part. You could always come to some classes with me and Orlo. Orlo had already zoned out and gone back to his work at this point. No reaction or look upwards at the sound of his name. Lee, however, looked to be listening intently, as though he wanted to say something. As in, they have dedicated workout classes for this game? Yeah, it's nice. Everyone gets together to increase their levels, and it gives a proper community vibe rather than just seeing each other as opponents. How about you, Lee? Do you play? Me? Oh yeah, I will be playing this year. I came fourth 2 years ago. No way! Seriously? Lee nodded shyly, then he tapped his touchboard and brought up an image of him with his medal. That's totally Finn! Orlo peered up from behind his computer. It's not a real word. It's kind of like, stop trying to make fetch happen. I'm talking to an Ultra Salt finalist. Max took the touchboard for a closer look and shrieked in delight. The loud noise brought Orlo back into the conversation. Pretty cool. Thanks, guys. How did you manage it? I mean, I bet you're trained every day, right? Yeah, of course. I'm more long distance and speed training, so I went to Ultra Salt bonus running groups. I leveled up my character's speed and agility enough to be in the live finals for the desert course within 12 days. What? So mega. I made sure I practiced on the game's demo course so I knew what kind of obstacles my character would face. It was good fun. I see you have the Ultra XI training watch. Ah, it's just so Vin. Still not a real word. So fetch. Yeah, I know Ultra Salt Month is a few weeks away, but I wanted to get grips with it before this year's competition. It gives you better updates on leveling your character, and you can add in what exercise suits you, and more accurate reminders for how much more exercise you need to do. My Ultra V4 still does the trick for me. Don't hate the player. Conversation died down and everyone back to their desks. Blake noticed a tablet pen left behind on his desk, a pink pen with a chewed end, just like the one in his apartment. Hey, anyone left their pen here? Ah, it's mine. How many times have I told you to stop chewing the ends of those, Orlo? You get a shock doing that. I'll be fine. Okay, so Orlo chews pens, but it was Max's pen, but Max and him are kind of a duo. Come in, come in. One hand gesture for Blake to come into the room, whilst the other was pushing paper to the side of his desk. He was happy to see Blake. How's everything going? Have you heard anything further from our mystery owl thief? Nothing so far, but Orlo left his pen on my desk. It's the same as the pen we found in my apartment. I see. We still need further proof before we can assume it was him. I think it's time we involve one of your colleagues in assisting us by hacking into the CCTV camera tonight. Consider you know them much better than I do, and it would be rather less intimidating. It might be best if you invite them. Who would you like to invite? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I know Max better, apparently. But something tells me I should invite Lee. I've been meaning to ask, how have you been doing in general? I'm fine, but could do with a pay raise. I'd rather not talk about it. All good, thanks for asking. I'm fine, but could do with a pay raise. I'm sure you'll unlock one soon if you meet all your targets. Thanks, Dad. My dad won't even give me more money. That's rude, Dad. That's rude. So Jonathan and I want to check the CCTV at my apartment and wondered if you might be able to help us at all. What do you need to check for? I'm just gonna tell the truth. I had a break-in at my apartment. Jonathan's helping me look into it. No wuzzers, I'm happy to help. So how did it go? Lee's happy to help us. Great, my car will pick you both up at 2000. I know, isn't it cute? This is the temporary one. I have another one coming, Panda. Oh, hang on, dog barking. No more dog barking. Yeah, the person who designed my original avatar is making them. I guess they just started doing PNG tubers, so very excited. I don't know how far I am in. I'm like an hour and a half into the game, I think. I'm enjoying Blake. However, I'm getting tired of reading it. I mean, not reading it, like saying it all out loud. I like the music so far. I think it's hilarious that we're trying to figure out how owls got into our apartment. Blake headed through the main lobby at the end of his working day. Well, good afternoon, Blake. Andy had the most endearing smile and temperament. His nose and eyes crinkled as he flashed his hand in a welcoming gesture. Everyone thought Andy was an awesome guy. He knew all the staff members' names and little details about them, but every now and then he'd forget small things such as, how's the doggo? What's the little floo's name again? Ah, yes, of course, and it made him seem more human. And I have a little blush, and I have a celebration. I can dance around and celebrate, and I can be very angry. And I can smile and laugh. His creators had done a good job, as he was rare for a droid to be so highly regarded and liked by staff members. I keep forgetting to look at their forehead. Yeah, the music's delightful. Good day. Oh yes, it's been a long one, and we're nearly there. An affable chuckle followed as Andy glanced at the time on the wall. His voice was confident, tone was pleasant, and they'd given him an accent that was neither from here nor there. Oh, yes. I actually plan to link them in my description, but I can send it in our Discord chat too. Andy rested his elbows on the desk and leaned forwards in a hushed voice. I had something I wanted to ask you. What's up? If you don't mind me asking, Lee is on your floor, so you must see him sometimes, right? Yeah, he sits near me. He's doing great. That's brilliant. You don't know how glad I am to hear that. Thank you, Blake. Why are we all concerned about Lee? The door buzzed. Blake wondered what on earth he was doing, but lifted his phone to the door panel to let Chris into his apartment. He had a fleeting thought, where he'd wondered if the dog would be abnormally large too. Oh, that's right, we get to meet the dog! That's right, we get to meet the dog. Also, this is like nice apartment living music. The sound of barking unleashed the moment the door opened. Chris had to hunch down to avoid hitting his head on the doorframe. The dog came bounding into the room, his big jaw open in an excited smile, but luckily the dog was normal size for a French bulldog. Aww, he's so tiny and cute. Hi, Pupper. Chris sat down on the sofa and made it look smaller than it was. He looked a little uncomfortable. Blake imagined everything was much bigger in his apartment to accommodate. Chris sat down on the sofa and made it... Oh, forwards. Here we go. This is Marv. He's very friendly. Stranger. Oh my gosh. We got an achievement for that. Oh my god, does the dog talk? Does the dog talk? Marv sniffed at Blake's leg. Stranger, non-hostile. The dog stated this in a happy and hyperactive voice, and the collar flashed. Oh my god, it's a translator! Bayo vocalizer collars are the new technology. The device detects brainwaves and vocalizes Marv's needs when they are thought and helps me to understand him and his being. I love it! I see. You can also play a game with him, and if you do, he'll let you pet him as a reward. Play! Of course we're gonna play. Okay, sounds like fun. You have to take it in turns to choose a number, and whoever reaches 33 wins. So it's like verbal blackjack. You can only choose a number that's 1 through 4 numbers higher than the last number that was chosen. So if Marv started first and chose 1, you could only choose 2, 3, 4, or 5. Let's do this. Reach 33. Who goes first? I'll have Marv go first. I choose 3. 6. 8. 11. What is this? Ah! We're gonna save in the empty slot. Resume playing. I don't know what that is. What is that? Did that just... Oh, okay. I was very confused. I choose 13. I'll go 15. Choose 18. I have no idea what number I'm at right now. 21. 24. Oh no, he's gonna win! Marv wins. I thought it was adding and I was very confused. We'll play one more time. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go 4. We'll go 10. 14. 22. 24. We did it again! Damn dog is gonna win. No, it's okay. No worries, good try. I think he's cheating anyway. I didn't take you as the type to have a pet. I like the idea of caring and loving for a more independent species, as if I were part of your own family. They do not have the tools to build. I don't understand. This FPS stuff up in the corner. That's a thing that just popped up out of nowhere. I don't know what that is. Poop. Blake nearly spat his tea out. What was that? Oh, sorry, that's Bayo. I should take Marv out to relieve himself before it starts to rain. He doesn't like the rain. Neither does Rupert. After Marv was sorted, Blake and Chris worked on their project for a couple of hours. It was Jonathan's car to pick him up. He'd nearly forgotten. Oh, I'm sorry, but I have to get going now. Let's continue this tomorrow at work. Yeah, I don't know if it's a setting that accidentally got turned on. Oh, nope. I'm gonna save here quick. Maybe I accidentally pushed something? No, don't quit. Resume playing. Oh, okay, interesting. No? Interesting. Not sure what it is. Chris left with Marv. Jonathan's car arrived on the dot to pick Blake up. And Lee was already inside the vehicle, looking captivated by everything. This house is stunning. Jonathan showed off his bookcase trick and Lee was impressed. These archaic items are wonderful, Mr. Gourdain. Lee, I understand that this is a rather unwanted request bringing you here. But would you kindly not mention anything about the clandestine endeavor to any other person, please? Of course, sir. It's strictly confidential. Here is my computer for you to work your magic on. One moment whilst I grant you access to the system. Jonathan took out his job pad, flipped through it, and then entered the password into his computer. This looks like one sturdy machine. To be honest, I'm kind of thankful it's not an antique. Otherwise, this would have been a challenging task. Lee got to work, focused on the matter at hand. This is unusual. Someone's encrypted the data. It's like they've put extra effort into making sure you couldn't access it. This code is unlike anything I've seen before. Blake, would you kindly take a look and see if you can help me override the security add-on? We're gonna give it a shot. Looks like binary code, Blake. Can you search for a binary translator on your phone and put in the numbers so we can find the code to unlock this? Input the answer to the code here and press enter. Wait. Wait, I gotta do a thing? Oh no. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Oh god, okay. Oh goodness. Okay, hang on. I think I got it. Try it with uppercase. Okay. I did it! That's kind of cool that it has you interact. Like you actually, I had to physically do something. That's kind of fun. Footage unlocked and started to play. Forward to the evening. All three were closely leaning towards the screen, eager to see what would appear. Footage showed Chris standing outside Blake's door. Huh? This can't be. Chris took out his phone and stared down at it. The image went black. Okay. Someone swiped the rest of the footage, all of it. That's so weird. Both Blake and Jonathan were quiet. This isn't what I had expected to see. Thank you for your help on this. We both really appreciate it. Thank you again for your assistance here. You've done a fine job. Nick is out the front and will take you home safely now. Wait, who's Nick? Oh, sorry, that's the name of my car. You named your car? Well, I've had him for a few years, and he's very reliable. I suppose I get attached to things that are around for a while. I mean, you kind of gave me away, Dad, so... I'm just saying. They said their goodbyes and Lee left, leaving Blake and Jonathan. 321 tag 2. It's gotta be a code for something. It's been put there on purpose, but a code for what? Maybe a city code? No, a lock somewhere perhaps? Blake shrugged with no answer to give. Jonathan pointed up to the sky in a determined gesture. No matter. We'll figure this out in time. So, what do we do about Chris? Well, I can't say I'm too happy with the results. We must tread carefully here. It greatly disappoints me to find Chris has somehow been mixed up in this. I didn't expect him to be. Never settle for the first answer you receive. We cannot presume that the puzzle is complete when we don't know how many pieces there are. I must recall your HD devices and postpone the project until further notice whilst this is under our investigation. It is a baneful irony that even once I possess Chris's HD device, we will not be able to check the activity due to the secure demeanor of the machinery. I think it would be best if I talk to Chris about what we've just witnessed and find out what he was doing. I mean, that sounds logical to me. Good idea. I'd like to see what he has to say about this. The day had dragged and felt longer than ever. Time to relax. News on, shoes off, couch. Non-drugged Bluebeard in hand, he hoped. So we're, what are we? Are we at like an hour and a half in at this point? We're gonna have to finish up with a part 2 probably Saturday. We'll play for probably about another half hour and see where we can get to before we save for the evening. Hello? Adjusting himself slowly towards the screen, Blake felt a pang of horror slither through his veins. On the monitor was a man sitting at a desk taking notes and staring. No studying, gibbered Blake's mind. In the top right-hand corner was a small image which mirrored Blake. He cautiously edged closer for a clearer view. What is happening? What is happening? 8L4KE. That's Blake? Is Blake an android? This is look at that. Okay, there's a QR code. Can I scan the QR code? Can I scan the QR code? That would be a really interesting niche. I'm gonna see if I can scan the QR code. I can't. Okay. I was worth a try. Worth a try. What the? The man on the screen couldn't possibly be studying him. It must be part of the program or an error with the station. But this was unlike any show Blake had seen before, and why was he the image in the corner? Is that Chris? Is that Chris up in the corner? Wait, what is going on? Oh my god. I'm glad you tried scanning the QR code too. That means our brains are in the same way. I actually feel like now that I'm thinking about it, the Indie Game Collective badge in the bottom corner here. When I'm doing something for Indie Backlog Club, I should put our logo there. Was this stranger taking notes on him? Blake slowly waved his hand to one side and the corner image mirrored him. Oh God. The man on the screen started to look worried and confused. It became paramount for Blake to capture what was happening. What if it was connected to what happened recently? Without evidence, he would be incapable of proving it. Blake held up the phone from his trouser pocket and took a picture of the man on his e-screen. Immediately, the man staring back at him became panic-stricken and started desperately pressing buttons. When that failed, he shouted for someone, however no one emanated from the speakers. Blake could get his phone. Before Blake could get his phone to record the events, another man emerged from outside the periphery. Instant cutoff, and the scene went back to the news. What the heck? What the fuck just happened here? The experience was more than enough to make even the sturdiest of people crumble into a paranoid, tin hat wearing conspiracist. Blake hurriedly switched the power off before unplugging every single electrical device that he could find within the flat. Yo, dude, I'd do the same. Like, if I thought I was being watched, it'd be like, I'm turning all the power off in the house. And we'll live by candlelight. Ah! Ah! Did you see that? On the car. The car has the license plate. The car has the license plate. The license plate is the code. Shirt buttoned, fly done up, sunglasses and headphones on, blood pumping, music to start the day. There was nothing better. The sky was a fresh blue with no clouds in sight. This was a rare luxury in the city of Newstone. Blake walked around the outside of the park, and it was a great day for it. To the right, a silver car sat waiting. The car... See? The car plate. 321 tag 2. He recognized it from somewhere. It's the password you just uncovered in binary, bro. He had to know if they were connected. Blake peered into the car to catch a glimpse of the driver. Out of nowhere, he felt a needle-like sting penetrate the small of his back, in that awkward place where it's difficult to reach. Almost immediately, he began to find it hard to breathe, and a lightheaded dizziness took over. Someone was there watching him. He knew he was onto them and getting close to the truth. They must have drugged him with a needle or a dart. He scanned the area, lots of people on their morning commute, but no one who looked suspicious. Fumbling for his phone to call Jonathan, he began to wheeze harder. He has to pick up. He couldn't tell if anyone could hear him, but he could make out a figure as they rapidly approached him. Jonathan, someone poisoned. The darkness claimed him. Sterile white light brought Blake back as he awakened in the hospital. You guys, what the heck just happened? Also, why is this here? I want it to go away. It's got that weird running thing in the corner. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be gone next time we play, maybe. Jonathan helped Blake check out and assisted him into the car. He didn't look worried. In fact, he looked a little amused. How old are you? What? 31? I haven't lost my memory. Yes, so in your 31 years on this planet, have you not once been stung by a bee? There's no way it was a bee, you guys. There's no way. It wasn't a bee. I don't trust Jonathan. Rubbing his head, Blake seemed a little dazed, but not too bothered. You had an anaphylactic reaction. Luckily, it wasn't too severe. The hospital said a first aid officer at the park found you just as you passed out and administered an immunization vaccine. You'll be completely dandy from here on out. No wonder I'm buzzing, eh? Well, apart from the cheesy jokes, you seem to be back to normal. Starting to feel more with it, Blake remembered what he had been doing before the sting. The car! There was a silver car on my way to work. The plate was 321 tag 2. It can't have just been a coincidence. You're right, we knew it had to mean more. And I caught a glimpse of the driver. He looked pretty rough, a big scar down one side of his face. We should wait in the same location and time tomorrow. I was about to suggest the same. The interim, I will investigate the plate and brief you on my findings tomorrow. Anyway, let's get you back home. Now I've got work to do. Are you sure you're feeling up to it? Yeah, I'm all good. All right then. On the drive to work, Blake caught Jonathan up on what had happened to his on his e-screen. Half an hour into his work, Blake heard a tap as something hit the back of his computer screen. He peered behind it. Orlo was peeping out from the side of his desk, and his manky chewed pen was on the ground, by Blake's desk, reminding him of the madness that had been following him around lately. Is it true you were late because you were stung by a bee? He chose to ignore Orlo's question. Orlo continued to stare at him until he couldn't take it anymore. Why does it matter? Have you seriously never been immunized before? Ooh, 3 questions in a row. You know what that means. Question match. What's a question match? You know, when you have to keep asking questions. Whoever breaks the chain loses. Sounds easy. Wanna bet? Let's go. Do you wanna go first? It's okay, you go first. Ugh, she got you there, buddy. Oldest trick in the book. Better luck next time, sweets. But I didn't know we'd started. Poor Lee. Max gave a cheeky wink, and Lee laughed a little. A hint of nervousness was there, but he did well to try to hide it. Lee hurriedly looked back down at his computer, hoping no one would notice his face going a light shade of red. Blake, Orlo, your turn. Rules, no one-word answers, no repeating, no statements posing as questions. As, i.e., I don't know? Judge me gets the final say. Go. Blake thought carefully about his choice of words. Is there nothing ever kept secret in this office? Why? What else are you trying to hide from us, mystery guy? Are you sure you'd want to know if I was? Any reason I wouldn't? Are you sure? You gave it a great try, but you lose. No one ever wins against me. Orlo flexes his bicep and winks, because using your biceps is what got you through that. You two are insanely competitive, but fun. Anyway, you could have taken my eye out with that germ-riddled pen of yours. Doesn't matter, you've got a spare one. Blake couldn't help let a smile escape the corner of his lips as he shook his head at the two jokesters. Max and Orlo chuckled and snorted, escalating each other's laughter until they were all laughed out. Blake checked his phone. Oh no. Dear customer, please accept this email as a formal apology from Evident Corp regarding the tech issue on the 30th of March. We would like to clarify to our customers that a researcher calculating viewer figures inadvertently streamed a live feed. This launched a visual connection on all affected Tronic e-screens in the Newstone vicinity. We're offering a 10% discount on all Tronic products and those affected as compensation. The rest included small print, which advised the puny offer was available for the next 10 days. Not that Blake was remotely roped in by it. Now there was proof that this random event was unrelated to the real problem at hand. Or it's somebody trying to cover up. Don't trust this stuff, Blake. Don't be dumb. Why is Blake so dumb? Isn't it strange how you can only get immunized when you're having a bad reaction to something? It's just a shame there isn't an immunizer for all your bad jokes. Ugh, Max hacks. Murked by Team Killer Orlo. You don't have to be so histamine about it. Haha. At that moment, Blake received a notification on his computer to turn his HG device into Jonathan's office. He went to his locker and opened it, and it was gone! Of course it's gone. Blake peered into the room, the left side of the door, to check in if Jonathan was alone or not on a call. He saw Chris and Jonathan talking. I'm so sorry, Jonathan. I don't know where it is. You swear you have no idea? Who's Cal? Blake thought. My whole life is indebted to you. I have no reason to upset that balance. Yeah, the histamine was pretty bad. What about last week what were you doing at my son's flat in the early hours of the morning? I will say that's the one thing I'm noticing with YouTube streaming too. Is, what is that? Hang on. Okay, that was weird. That's the one thing that what the heck is going on? Hang on a second here. Hang on. There we go. The one thing that I have noticed the difference between YouTube and Twitch is there's much more of a delay between chat and on screen. What about last week? What were you doing at my son's flat in the early hours of the morning? Last week after the work drinks, I got a weird message from him asking if I could come help him. When I got there, he messaged me saying that he'd sorted it out, whatever it was. I see. Blake stepped into the room, pulling the handle to purposely make a noise and get their attention as he walked in. Blake, do you have the HG device? I don't. It's not in my locker. So that makes both of you. Jonathan sighed and then smiled and nodded to Chris. Chris, that's all I want to ask you, and I apologize if I seemed intrusive. It's not a problem. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Thank you. Jonathan walked Chris to the office door, closing it once the gargantuan figure had left. It was only you and I who knew my intentions to remove the HG devices, or so I thought. But to take both, this is rather troublesome indeed. This could mean we're possibly dealing with more than one person here. For now, finding some evidence of the perpetrator or perpetrators is more pertinent. I'm going to need Lee to help me with this. Would you mind kindly retrieving Lee from the reception area for me? How do you know he's not at his desk? Jonathan chuckled. It's only a hunch, but a most likely one. I often find him down there talking to Andy at reception. I have no idea what they need to talk about, but if you find out, I'd love to know. The finger guns, man. Andy was sat at the front desk, unexpectedly alone. Hey man, have you seen Line anywhere? I've got Jonathan looking for him. Oh, no problem. He's just in my quarters. I'll go get him. Blake raised a brow as Andy disappeared into the small room behind the desk. The door opened a few minutes later and Lee came rushing out. Hi, I hear Jonathan's asking for me? Blake looked at Lee curiously and then at the door. What's happening in there? Oh, yeah, I was just trying to help Andy with fixing his e-screen. If it's broken, I'm sure Jonathan will give him a new one. No, it's okay. He scratched the back of his neck and looked uncomfortable. I don't buy it. What's really going on? Okay, look, I was connecting my tablet to his e-screen so he could watch me stream on Nudge. I love that it's called Nudge. Andy lives in that tiny room behind his desk when he's not working, and like us, he gets bored sometimes. He's not allowed the internet outside of work hours, and even then, it's mega restricted. I hacked my tablet so he could just access Nudge. I'd be more worried he might start a channel and get Nudge famous. Then you'd be caught. Lee laughed. True, I hadn't thought of that. You're not gonna say anything to Jonathan, are you? Safe with me, dude. Not feeling up to cooking, Blake decided to stop by Saucy Mama's and pick up something to eat. Blake spotted Max sitting alone. Blake leaned to the side and put his hand up to catch Max's eye. Hey, Max! Are you waiting for someone? No, I'm here on my own, but you're welcome to join me if you like. He feigned a smile. There was no reason for him to tell Max what was going on. Going to Orlos tonight to eradicate the infestation of living dead. You want in? She was talking video game language already. The idea of playing games with Max and Orlo felt like it could be a distraction, but he wasn't sure that is what he needed right now. Not tonight, but another time. Like I said earlier, you guys, at least it's good to know in the future, we're still horny. Boop, what can I get you two sweet tarts? Do you want another tea or anything to eat? Go on then, I'll have another cup. And a slice of that banana bread if you have any left. I'll have peanut butter toast, a pizza cake, and a Bluebeard, please. That comes out to 52 bits. Are you paying separately or together? I'll get this. Oh, thanks. Blake held out his phone for her to scan. All done. Your order is coming right up. Did she call us sweethearts? No, I think it was sweet tarts. You know, like sweetie pie, but tart. It's not a thing, though. Maybe it is here. Want me to ask her? No! Max leaned in and touched Blake's forearm. Don't do it. Okay, you have my word. Banana bread, huh? Nice choice. I think I might be a bit like banana bread. Easy to adjust, not too sickly. Some people love it, some people think it's gross, sweet enough, and bananas. She pulled a silly face and then smiled. I do like banana bread a lot. I'm in the like banana bread a lot category. Smooth. Was he hitting on her? Why, thank you, Blake Gourdain. For a moment, she pulled a horrified face. Blake imagined it was the kind of face she'd pull off if she was walking in on Orlo naked. Sorry, I didn't think there. Are you planning to go by that name? I'm guessing everyone knows then. I haven't really thought about it. But if I want in on the inheritance, I suppose I might have to. He pulled a playfully menacing face, which made Max chuckle. Banana bread is amazing. You kill me, Blake. You're a funny guy. She beamed and smiled softly. You've changed. Yeah? In a good way, I mean. It must have turned your world upside down when Jonathan told you he's your dad. I can't imagine what that was like. Yeah, things have been a little bit crazy. How did he tell you? I don't imagine he invited you to a meeting and then just announced it to you in the office. No, he knew the office wasn't the right place. Hang on. I met up with him here, actually. He was going to tell me, but something came up and he helped me out. Now when I think back, it makes sense why he was so eager to help. Later that day, he was all, Blake, I am your father, or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact words he used. That's a great impression. Blake chuckled as the server arrived, doing an impressive balancing act of cups and plates. We'll help her. We're a nice guy. Thank you, honey cake, but I've got this. Just press the button if you need anything else, lovelies. That was kind of you to offer to help her. Conversation died down as Max's eyes transfixed onto the banana bread. Is something wrong with it? No, it's just I'm watching what I eat at the moment. It was hard for Blake not to choke on the Bluebeard he'd sipped one moment before, but he managed to force it down his gullet without it going down the wrong way. His chest bobbed up and down as he laughed without audio and shook his head. You got me. How did you come up with them so fast? I don't know. I guess there's something very addictive to seeing people smile. Buttered toast with a healthy slather of peanut butter on it, slightly burnt underneath but still hot, sat on a warm plate in front of Blake. He took the knife and cut it down the middle as his company observed. Honey cake! That's an unusual way to do it. Picking up one half of the toast and eyeing it, Blake gave his reasoning for the precision. Perfect symmetry. I've always thought that cutting it the other way would be cutting it from side to side. That's weird to me. Oh yeah, it does kind of feel like underwater level a little bit. Not like flirting with Max at a bar. Both enjoyed their food. Blake observed the people sitting nearby and noted their nuances. Max shot out her phone to get her fix. Mouthful of food, she rushedly chose to say something. Someone on the archives has claimed that Killer VR killed an innocent and they have proof. Well, it could be true. She placed her phone back down on the table. I don't know how I feel about this. Surely it isn't true. I guess it depends on what the proof is. Then again, if you're not given the full story, you can have proof of something and still not have the truth. Ooh, that's a good statement right there. You can have proof of something and still not have the truth. He was starting to sound like Jonathan. I saw the new documentary last night and I just can't imagine Kill VR deviating from their morals. So do you think your documentary is reliable? Let's have a look. A few searches later, and Blake had found out that the name of the production company was on his phone. It says here the production company, Evident Entertainments, are the largest shareholders of CloseX, and we all know CloseX are the primary sponsors for the Kill VR brand image. Their job is to make Kill VR look good, great, if not awesome. You're right. I guess only time will tell. They talked some more, then headed their separate ways for the night. The next morning, Jonathan and Blake had an early morning stakeout. We're looking for the car. I've done a little digging into this car plate. Hey, I got it. This is driving me nuts. It's not here. See, it's not showing here. It's only showing on the game. It's so weird. All right, we'll deal with it. I've done a little digging into this car plate. Really? Did you find anything? Jonathan took out the jot pad from his breast pocket and flipped a few pages. The car is registered to a flip. Mr. Trout. And the registered address is in this town. However, I checked the address and the property belongs to a Mr. and Mrs. Brown in a highly affluent part of Newston. Admittedly, I could be wrong, but this looks like a fake address. Is Trout a red herring? Get it, guys? It seems that whoever sent you that email has coaxed you down a rather recondite rabbit hole. Yeah. Blake took the reins and conducted a quick search through his phone. Tap, tap, huff, tap. Your hunch looks spot on. Miss Brown has an Imagination account. You can see numerous pictures of her husband's topiary are on there. But have a look at this one in particular. Blake showed Jonathan the image. It showed Mr. and Mrs. Brown smiling in front of a large angle topiary. In the description it said, "Our little slice of heaven, Oz's biggest passion project at home, topiary, hedgy art, garden angel." He scrolled down to another image which showed a gardening charity event Mr. Brown had recently organized and raised a bunch of bits for. Oz Brown isn't our guy. That's not the man I saw in the car. He's not in any of these pictures. Before you know it, I'll be managing you. I need to know who's behind this. I have to. I need to know who's behind all this. I can't help but feel like there's something we've overlooked. Truth cannot hide forever. So I guess this means this guy doesn't always take the same route, or maybe works alternating hours, or yesterday was just a complete coincidence. It might not have even been a car plate. Sorry I dragged you out this morning. It's fine. It was great sitting in the car, just watching the world go by like real stakeout. We'll both just have to be vigilant. Excuse me. I have like mild hiccups. Is something on your mind? I didn't tell anyone, but it seems that some people in the office might know I'm your son. I suppose that was always likely to happen. I don't mind people knowing. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not hiding anything. Jonathan let slip a smile. Neither am I, son. Beep! Blake checked his phone. There's a message. It's from an anonymous. Meet me tomorrow outside the abandoned computer store at 6 p.m. alone. This message contains 2 attachments, trout.jpg and sam.jpg. This one says it's from me. And there are 2 images attached. Do you think we can safely open them somehow? Let's take every precaution. Machine would do the best for this. He took out Machine and plugged it directly into the charging port of Blake's phone and extracted the file. It took minutes for Jonathan to open the images that had been attached to the email. That's the guy with the scar! Square-faced, thick-lipped, middle-aged man who wore a scruffy-looking dirty brown jacket. He looked like a dodgy tech trader who sold faulty 3D printers. Blake studied his face. I was expecting a picture of a craniate gill-bearding freshwater fish. But that's him. That's the guy I saw in the car. It doesn't look like good news, if you ask me. What? Huh? The man in the second attachment looked familiar, but Blake couldn't think of from where. That's the doctor! Or the dude on the TV. That's the guy that was watching us. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This game is getting... Oh no. Taking out his phone, he started up the WhatsApp app, took a picture of the image before Jonathan waited for the app to load the results from the web. A news article came up with a face recognition match. It was Sam Stevens, the man who had been on the news as a missing person last week. It's the missing person. It's not the doctor guy. I was wrong. Also, Happy Canada Day A in the background on that poster. Totally seeing that right there. He hadn't recognized him in the attachment due to the stubble and bedraggled look compared to the pictures shown in the news reports. No, I don't think it is the doc. I think it's Sam. Nerves suddenly bolted down through Blake's body. The idea of someone trying to frame him for this lit up in his mind. He seriously hoped that the owl incident was an unparalleled occurrence, and maybe, just maybe, this person wanted Blake to help them find Sam. Do you think this ruffian Trout is the man who kidnapped Stan Stevens? He caught himself using one of Jonathan's weird words and cringed. There's a picture on the wall in both images and they match. This Trout fellow is certainly involved somehow. What has all this got to do with me? I've never met either of these people before. Yes, why tell you this information and why now? It is with a deep-seated feeling of unrest when I say this, but I think whoever's behind this is inviting you to partake in their mind games. So far, they've coerced you into the involvement of their misdeeds, trespassed onto your online ID, and taunted you through the means of poetry. None of the aforementioned events resembles any iota of benevolent impulsion. You're right, I think. But I can't just ignore the fact that someone knows where Sam Stevens is. Then I'll go with you. Yeah, I'm gonna be wrapping up as soon as this little section's done, but it's good to see you, Nogib. You can't, it says I have to go alone, and I can't let you put yourself in danger. We don't know how many people are involved. It's a public place, I'll be okay, I'm sure. Acknowledged, but any worries of misadventure, you message me right away and I'll be there. Got it. Oh, and put my card on speed dial. I'll have it parked near the area just in case you need a quick getaway. Good idea. A tired Blake sat back on the sofa and enjoyed a cold Bluebeard. E-screen on, it was already Thursday. The days seemed to meld into one. Recent days had been so... Oh, no worries about tuning in late. It's fine. The YouTube lifestyle is casual. It's a casual lifestyle. The cryptic messages, the disturbing events, and most importantly, his reunion with his dad, which had made him feel like he'd found a part of himself again. Many hours passed, and Blake slept like what could only be explained as a baby log. The chiming persistence of his phone woke him up. It was 1 p.m. You showed up at a novel time. All the strange occurrences had left him weary. 6 p.m. came around quickly. Blake filled his spare time with a visit to the communal gym in his complex, shower, and lunch before leaving. No one there on the corner. Unvexed, he decided to give it a while in the off chance. Trying to avoid eye contact, he spotted Harry walking in his direction. As she got closer, he realized it was inevitable that they would exchange niceties. Greeting with a hug, Blake became concerned that she might hang around and this wasn't a good time. Hiya! I'm so excited that we're going to the cinema. I was thinking we could go to see Gloomy Night. It wasn't just a coincidence she had come down the road. She fully expected Blake to be there. It was like she knew she was meeting up with him, and they had made plans. Was he being fucked with again? Most likely. This isn't the new one, though. They're doing a special showing of the original remake. The original remake? How was such an abomination allowed to exist? She wanted to go see that terrible, moody-looking drama franchise about a Yeti that falls for a teenage girl. No surprise there. He'd never arranged to meet her, but assumed a message had somehow been sent to her in his name. He needed to know how and why without sounding like he'd lost his mind. So, what were you doing when we arranged to meet? My work, of course. Harry was unfazed by the mini interrogation, clearly too preoccupied with excitement about the movie, and now Blake knew his work email had somehow been hacked. This was getting out of hand fast, but he had to go along with it for the time being. Let's go, I guess. After this, we can go to Saucy Mama's for a death by chocolate. Ooh, do we watch the movie? I feel bad leaving her. Also, I love that it's called Twilight. It's called, what is it? What was it? Gloomy Night, not Twilight. Wait, did you hear something? Yeah, it came from over there in the forest. Can you have a look? I'm scared. Okay, for you, I'll go double check. Blake rolled his eyes. The misuse of the expression double check aggravated him. Quick, we need to leave. Okay, just let me grab my things. We don't have time. Why doesn't he just tell her what he saw? He doesn't have time. Plus, the filmmakers don't need to repeat what we've just seen. We can assume that happens off screen. She's really into this movie. I'm going to the plumber. Oh, would you mind getting me some Sparkle Nova candy while you're out there? Sure. We don't have it here, though. You'll have to go across the road to get some. Oh, yeah, spin-off game for sure. Okay. Blake exited the screening, took a leak, and then instead of wasting part of his life, he stood outside for some fresh air. It was chucking buckets outside. Okay. Okay. Anything we notice in here? Behind the Eyes of a Killer is playing. There's a little star in there. There's closed out of business. IGC shop coming soon. Blake stood under the cover from the rain so he could check his phone. The curtain of water unveiling a silver car waiting in the taxi lane, just steps away from the front door. It looked like the one he saw in the park. Yes, it was Trout. He was a taxi assistant? It was obvious from looking at the car that it was a taxi, although most of them weren't. Oh yeah, bucking chuckets would be different. Blake knew he would have to follow the car to see where it went. He shared his location to Jonathan's car and summoned it. I'm just gonna tell her. I feel rude abandoning her. Blake decided we'd best let Hari know an emergency came up and he needed to leave immediately. As he was writing his message, Hari stepped outside. Chuckly Buckins. Blake, are you okay? Hari, look, something's come up and I need to go now. I'll come with you. Where are we going? No, you can't come with me. Why not? You didn't tell me where you're going. Blake watched as a woman ran up to the taxi and jumped in. They were about to leave. He had to act now. Jonathan's car showed up moments later. He shielded himself from the rain with his coat and made a run for the car's shelter. Hari followed. So I can come with you? No. Oh no. He jumped in the car and Hari got in the back. I won't be any trouble. Trout's car started pulling away. Hari, you can't come with me. This isn't... I'm not getting out unless you tell me why you're leaving and where to. I have to follow someone. Blake couldn't leave it any longer, otherwise the car would go out of sight. He released a sigh of adrenaline. Am I really gonna do this? Do what? Look, just be quiet and try not to touch anything. Well, that's not very welcoming. I didn't ask you to come along. Oh, Hari. Blake selected rain mode, and the water on the car windows instantly dispersed into tiny droplets before evaporating into nothing. Manual mode selected, that way he could keep the car in between them for the whole journey and tail behind without being seen. Following the car for half hour, they headed to Newston. The car stopped outside a large house. The woman jumped out. She'd been let out of the car. That was a good sign. Who's she? I don't know. Then why do we follow her here? We're not. I'm following the driver. Oh! Are you an undercover cop or something? No, it's a long story. I just need to know where he's going. The car started on its way again. The sun had retreated, so Blake was hoping Trout would finish his shift. Otherwise, this could go on all night. All the anticipating and waiting was giving him a headache, but it didn't deter him. Patience paid off. After another 45 minutes, they ended up west, in the decrepit part of Newstone, or as they call it here, Newstown. Crime was rife, femme fatales and prostitutes aplenty, and the tech was behind the times. Blake considered that Jonathan probably acquired some more vintage contraptions and left them in this part of town, but couldn't imagine him having any connection to this area. Are you an undercover cop? Yes. Just shut up. Shut up, Hari. They arrived at the entrance of the docks. When Trout exited his car, Blake found a hill behind the docks to park on and peered down to observe. Trout made his way to the entrance of a warehouse. This is where he was residing. Initially, Blake's instinct was to scope out the area, take his time, and carefully plan his next move, but time was of the essence. Maybe Sam was in there. Stay here. I need to go check this out. I won't be long. Okay. I mean, it could be dangerous. If I'm not back in 30 minutes, call the police and don't leave the car. Got it? Got it! Blake clenched his fists. His heart was pounding as hard as he envisioned knocking on the door. He took in a deep breath and tried to remain calm as he approached the warehouse. The door opened before Blake, The door opened before Blake had the chance to announce his presence. Trout looked behind Blake cautiously to check if anyone was watching. Whatever unscrupulous activities he'd been involved in and witnessed in his lifetime, they'd taken their toll. His eyes were aged and tired. He looked like a man with very little patience. He stared at Blake, got out his phone, held it up beside him, looking at a picture on the screen, then glanced at Blake again. "You're the Uva guy, ain't you? He told me you'd be coming here." The voice reminded Blake of the crunching noise of gravel beneath the slow-moving truck. Trout gave an eye-lowered, knowing look, prodded his temple, and then pointed at Blake. What? None of this made sense. With his mouth slightly agape, Trout's tongue ran slowly across the black back of his lowered teeth like a cobra enticing its prey into the snake pit. He uttered, "Come in." The back of Blake's neck tensed up, taking in a deep breath. He tried to zen as much as he could. About to decline Trout's invite with some hasty excuse, Trout had already disappeared inside. Careful of walking into a trap, Blake peered inside the warehouse. He contemplated his choice of going in unarmed. It was stupid. He couldn't take Trout even if he wanted to. He was all muscle, no fat. But he had no choice now. Alert, Blake inspected and scrutinized the area and followed the clicking noises from behind the corner of the room. From the corner of the room. Trout pushed a mug of tea into Blake's hand as he entered and then leaned against the counter in a relaxed manner. Blake stared at the tea. At least he was armed with boiling water. "Have you been sending me the messages?" "What messages? Why be sending you messages? What, you fucking with me?" Trout's face contorted and screwed up as he spoke in a sloth-like manner, as if every word had a heavy boulder being pushed out of the way in order to get the next. I feel like he's got like a Rocky Balboa thing going on. Blake was lost. "Where's Sam Stevens?" Blake's grip tightened around the handle of the mug. "I did my bit. The boy's been dealt with. But let's get this one thing straight. You do your bit, and I do mine. If it's you tailing me again, the deal is off. Now let's stop all this fucking around. You got my moolah?" Visibly agitated, Trout tensed his shoulders and tilted his head to the side, releasing a disconcerting loud crack in his neck. "Ooh, I just did that too." Blake placed his cup down on the table. If things were about to escalate, he might need both hands. "Where is Sam Stevens? Take me to him now." "Mate, I can't take you to his body. It's gone. I got rid of it, just like I told you. I did my bit as asked. What do you think you're playing at?" "Why the fuck would I give you money? Who told you to kill him?" "What?" Releasing a deep chuckle, Trout placed his mug on the counter while shaking his head and wagging a finger. "I didn't kill him. Your brother did." "Who? Blake has a brother?" "It's a fucking joke, right? You said you'd be coming here, then you come in acting like you don't know shit at all. Who killed him? I thought you were aving me at first, but judging by your face, you don't have a fucking clue what's going on, do you?" Trout said this with a sly tone that dripped with slime. A guttural laugh rose out from him again. Trout snatched his phone from the counter and prodded the screen a bit. The low-bellied laughter faded off as he handed the phone over to Blake. "This is what your bro did." Trout looked proud of himself, like he was holding the ace, and then did his disconcerting tongue thing again. Blake took the phone and looked at the image on the screen. Immediately his stomach tightened in reaction to the sight. It was too late to save the missing man. A knife protruded from Sam's lifeless body, slumped in a chair, blood soaked down his top. His face black and blue, just like the picture he'd been sent. Trout was in the background, walking towards the edge of the screen, meaning someone else was behind the lens. Almost fucked up family you got there, mate. I'm not attacking him. Now go sort out my money with your fucking brother and tell him to pay me pronto, eh? Got it? "I don't have your money." "Are you back-chatting at me, boy?" Blake heard a click and then saw the light shine off of the switchblade Trout had taken out. "I don't really want to go back to the Bly. But you answer me back again and I fucking swear I'll cut your fucking tongue out and stick it up between your meat pouches. Get what I'm saying? Put the knife down. Hari, what the fuck are you doing here? I told you to stay put. Trout swung around and grabbed Hari, knife to her throat. God damn it, Hari. What the fuck are you? What the fuck are you stalking around my warehouse? Hari stood still and said nothing. Trout let her go. She has nothing to do with this. Trout raised his voice. Spittle flew everywhere as his rage increased. I say, who the fuck are you? Let me and my friend go and we'll leave you be unharmed. Hari's tone was firm and calm. She was a completely different person. Unarmed? Unarmed? If you haven't noticed, love, you're not in a fucking position to be given. Before he could say another word, Hari slipped out of his grasp, and in a couple of swift movements, she knocked the knife out of his hand and caught it. What the fuck? What? Twirling around behind him faster than he could process, she hit him on the back of the head with a knife handle. He fell into a pile on the ground. Did you just kill him? No, he's out cold. We should leave before he wakes up. Okay then. What the hell just happened? I stopped him from killing you. He wasn't gonna kill me. How do you know? I don't, that's not the point. What's more, he could have killed you. You did some crazy fast moves back there. I'm sorry, it looked like you were gonna get hurt. I was just protecting you. Well, thank you. Yeah, right? Hari's secretly a badass. No worries. I feel like she saved my life, so maybe I should take her to Saucy Mama's. How about we get some chalk tails at the chest to shake off some of these nerves? She didn't sound like her normal enthusiastic self. There wasn't much talking for the rest of the journey back. They both needed some time to process what had happened. Ah, they have my favorite! Blake pointed towards an empty table. Okay, Hari made a beeline for the chalk-tail counter and was already out of earshot. Blake sat down and observed the bar. Moments later, Hari came marching back holding 2 sundaes, then set one down in front of Blake. And here it is, Death by Chocolate! She sat down opposite Blake and stared at the sundae for a moment whilst holding a long, dainty dessert spoon. Blake could tell she was savoring the moment like it was some sort of ritual of gratitude. 100%, I got the ultimate bad ending out of us all. Really? Oh no. Thanks, that's sweet of you to get me one. It's no bother. You're gonna love it, trust me. Hari had her first taste of Death by Chocolate and rolled her eyes. Did you know that there's a rare fruit from Castor that tastes just like chocolate ice cream? No, not heard that before. Who told you that? I've tried it myself. She took out her phone, and a few moments later, on What's It, she was showing Blake the information. It looked legit. You look surprised. I am surprised. Why? Blake took a closer look at the information. Well, this says it's only available on the shadow web, and you don't look like that's sort of what's going on. You don't look like the sort who'd go on there. Ari smiled and raised her eyebrows. People are almost always never how we expect them to be. That's certainly been the case this evening. That, and you're the only person I know who would use the shadow web for buying ice cream flavored fruit of all things. Truth be told, that's probably what I'd use the dark web for. I don't know why my captions keep freezing. Sorry about that. Hari laughed and threw a napkin at Blake, which hit him square in the face. She looked embarrassed and hid her mouth with her hands. Sorry. It's okay, I deserved it. But no, I didn't get it from the shadow web. I visited a small local food hut in Castor. You've been to Castor? I don't know why it's not auto-scrolling. That's so weird. Yes, among other places. Don't look so surprised. Everyone was so nice and accommodating. A chef presented it to me and told me that only those with a true heart can experience the sweetness of the yama fruit. And what about those who don't have a true heart? Well, I don't know for certain, because as you can see, I'm true of hearts. But for those that aren't, I was told it leaves a bad taste, and for how long it depends on what you've done in the past. And what does it mean exactly to be true of heart? Harry appeared serious, whilst in deep thought over the question Blake had just posed her. She was idly prodding her ice cream with a spoon, not paying attention to how fast it was melting. Someone who strives to do good. So you're always good? What about when you knocked out that guy back there? I was saving you. It doesn't count if it's for a good cause. Blake straightened the napkin on the table. There was a calmness in the air. Blake made sure to get Harry back home safely. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. As he sat in his car alone, the dread sunk in. He'd failed. He had let Sam die. Not only that, but apparently by the hands of his flesh and blood. The revelation that he had a brother was too much to comprehend. The burning question was it all a big misunderstanding, or had Jonathan kept a secret for him? Did he have a brother that Jonathan failed to mention? The picture Jonathan had given him on the USB didn't show a brother. Would Jonathan have gone to the trouble of editing him out? It didn't seem right, unless at the time his brother hadn't been born yet. The rain tapped at the windows as Blake pulled up to Jonathan's house. He'd intended to go home, but this couldn't wait. He had to know. Oh, you guys, I feel like I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Whoa, well that was part 1 of Blake. I don't know how far I've got left to go. We've played about 2-ish hours, 2.5 hours. But I feel like we're just kind of getting into the meat right now. We're just kind of getting into the meat. I don't know why my web captioner is like not scrolling, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, this is kind of intense. We're cliffhangering it so that you guys want to come back. I think if everything goes to plan, we'll be playing again on Saturday, trying to finish it up. And I'm very excited to recap this and hang out with you guys again. So, with that being said, my friends, I am gonna go to bed. Thank you all so much for being here. I've had a wonderful night with you. And yeah, technically over half, so you're good. Okay, cool. So then I should be able to finish it in time for our review. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. What is going on with my web captioner is being so dumb. Sorry if the captions were dumb tonight. I apologize. Is it my fault? I gotta figure this out. I don't know why it's clipping and it's not doing stuff. I don't know. Screw it. It's done. Goodbye. Anyways, good night, friends. We'll see you this weekend. We'll see you tomorrow for some more Stray on Twitch. Check out the details for Blake in the description below. And we'll see you again soon.